Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX, and it's time for the daily video update. We've had some interesting movements today. We're going to talk a little bit about them here coming up. You can see that we're just about a half hour from the close of the U.S. markets, and things have had a pretty hard day today. Oil's down back below 102, or excuse me, 103, and it was at about 106 yesterday, so it's taken a pretty big hit the last couple of 24 hours or so. Gold's down a little bit. It's had a bit of a hard one as well, so pretty bearish on the gold situation. And then we can see also that the S&P is looking like it's going to end pretty negative, as well as the Dow. So everything's kind of had a bad day. It hasn't necessarily been all dollar good, but it's been more correlated to dollar strength than, say, the last several days, where we're seeing a big break in correlation between equities and currencies. Today we've had lots of announcements. The European Central Bank came out and said a whole bunch of stuff. They left the interest rates the same, and that was actually very bullish because there was really kind of some deep down expectations that they might cut things and that they probably still should cut the interest rates, but they haven't, and so there we have it. Later on today, we have the monetary policy statement for Australia. That's going to be a big mover, so keep your eye on that. And we've just got a couple of little things kind of happening there, but the big event, of course, for all dollar pairs is going to be this guy right here, non-farm payroll, which will be tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Pacific. And hopefully you guys have all received the email. We're going to be doing a live session for everybody, free for everyone. Join us for the live non-farm payroll session Friday morning, and we'll just all trade it together and see if we can grab some pips out of some activity there. Likewise, taking a little look at the dollar index, still bouncing around, not really going too much of anywhere. It's just back above 79 once again. Same old story. Speaking of the same old story, I have not even changed these levels from yesterday. So here's what we had happen. Yesterday, as you guys remember in the daily videos, these are the exact same levels, and the market is still inside that channel. We talked about breaks of both of these levels. Now, in the UK session, kind of early morning, we saw a nice little break of 31.25. And remember, as you can see here in my charts, we talked a little bit about that heading down, and 20 to 40 pip run. We got about 25 pips out of that move down. And that was more kind of news related. And then we had a big reversal come back up through there to the top. And then we had an attempt. We were live at this point when this break happened, and we just wanted to make sure that the euro could get above the daily pivot point. So as it opened kind of above this level, wanted to make sure we could clear that daily pivot point. It could not, so we stayed out of the trade. And here it is right back in the channel again. So the daily pivot point is going to be at a new position in the next couple of hours here. So we're not going to have to worry about that pivot point so much. And I think we're back in business with this 31.65. Getting a nice open above 31.65. We barely got it right on the level there, but we want to make sure that we can clear, probably safe to say, 31.70. Let's look for an open at or above 31.70 for a continuation back up to this 132.00. Now remember, with non-farm payroll coming out, we might see a little bit of a quiet UK session. Maybe not. I don't know. But definitely the markets are going to be anticipating the news coming out, and it's going to probably be a little bit wild and crazy with these levels as we get the job reports coming out of the U.S. So keep an eye on those. Remember, we're looking for 132.00 as a possible target if we get a break of 131.65, and if that breaks as well, we could see 132.70 tested again also. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. This might look a little familiar because this is the exact same chart as we had yesterday as well on the pound dollar, and it still is all very much in play. 162.05, looking for a break of that. And again, same thing. We saw a candle just run up real quick, and then it pulled back very quickly. And so just looking for an open above 162.00. We need to get a nice little open above 162.00, 162.05, and then we should be able to take this pound dollar up into 162.50. Likewise, we need to get a break below 161.60. We get that, and we should be able to take this thing into about 161.00 and so on. So keep an eye on that pound dollar. Channels, levels, everything are still the same. Now here's two new additions that I'm just looking at briefly here. Euro yen. The euro yen has kind of done a good job. You can see some of these trend lines here performing break, and then we get a little bit of a run, and then it's back up, and we're looking for another break here. So somewhere below about 105.50 105.45 is what I want to see, and I'll sell this euro yen at least into the lows, which again is about 30 pips and potentially beyond. Euro yen is bottoming out pretty nicely, as you can see here, and so that's why I'm getting a little bit nervous about trying to get long-term short on the euro yen, because that support is pretty intense. That's pretty strong double bottom area there. So we're just looking for a nice little break of this trend line, and we're going to trade it into the lows, 30, 25 to 40 pips, kind of that basic situation there. So keep an eye on that. Remember, about 105.45 is what we want to see, and then we'll sell the pair, and it's about 10 pips away from that currently. Pound yen, same exact thing. Now on the larger time frame, you see this pound yen has got a little more room to go. There's definitely some support right there, but it's got a little more space before it starts kind of bottoming out at some of these lows here. And so we've got a good little chunk of pips, and we will make sure that we can kind of get out of that range and start taking the pair a little bit lower. But just same thing, very simple. Look for that trend line break. Probably about 129.75 to 80 is what we want to see, and then we can sell it into some of these lows here. Again, looking for about 25 to 40 pips on this, and the pound yen should be an easy 50 pip run, so keep an eye on that. We have some news coming out of Australia later on today, but likewise we want to keep an eye on some of the levels. Now, yesterday's session talked a little bit about the breakout of this trend line and the breakout of 10300. We saw 10300 break, and we've seen a very nice movement on that one so far. Several of us in the group are still in the trade, looking for a nice continuation down. So let's keep our eye on that. It's hit major support down here at 102.50. It hit that thing like a rock, and it's just bouncing up off it very nicely. So remember, this is our big strong level right here. If this guy breaks though, we have got some very nice pips below this. We should be able to see a 100 pip run if we see a break of this level. So keep your eye on that. Should be a very nice little move below 102.50, but it's definitely hitting support, and it's definitely bouncing off that level. So let's keep our eye on that, and we'll kind of be able to gauge that with gold. Gold is kind of bottoming out at this big level once again that we've seen hit so many times, finding some support there. If it can make it through that into some of these lower levels like 1620, 1625, then we're very likely to see a nice break on that Aussie dollar and a continuation lower. So let's keep our eye on that 102.50. And then just on these two channels here on the euro dollar, pound dollar, and then the trend lines on the euro yen and the pound yen. Great setups. We'll see you guys in the chat tonight, and we'll see everybody hopefully in the chat tomorrow morning for the U.S. job reports numbers at 5:30 a.m. Pacific. Thanks everyone. Take care.